Hello, everyone. Woo! Oh my gosh. I'm just going to give a little smudge here. Well, welcome again. This is Sarah Burns and the Invisibles and some copal. These beautiful flowers that came from a wedding. So today we are back. I have facial expression full range all over again from last week where I had my daughter fill in, which was Ask the Alila. So thank you all for offering questions for her, and that was really special and very cute. So today, how this goes is, I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to share this. This is a great opportunity for you to ask a question for yourself, humanity, or the planet. And, I have a question already on queue from last week that I wasn't able to get to. But if there's something that you want to get to, please put it on the thread. And if you're not able, okay, just sharing this right now. If you're not able to stick around for the answer, I will send you the minutes. So that is, I'm just going to write this. Thrive. And I am over here gearing up for a trip to the States, which is going to be very exciting. We're going to go to Virginia and then to Toronto. And so I will be doing the Invisibles, Ask the Invisibles from different places around the countries soon as I journey. And today, I've been waking up the last few days and there's been a lot of smoke in the air. Or at first I thought it was this, I was like, wow, there's this beautiful, like how the sky was looking was very like almost opaque, like there was a filter over the sun and it felt really soft. But then I realized that it was because of all the forest fires that are happening on Vancouver Island and elsewhere. And so dropping into the sensation of these great flames that are making their course across the planet in their own ways, and the heat and the fire and just the overheating that's happening on this planet. I watched this movie called Chasing Coral, which is on Netflix, and it goes into the heating of the ocean that's happening right now and all of this blanching of all of these coral patches that are dying at a pretty extremely rapid rate. So as I was watching that and as I'm seeing the smoke from all the fires and just feeling this fire, this heat that's coming over the planet, I had my first question for the Invisibles. I'm going to write this here for you guys. So my first question for the Invisibles today is regarding what their perspectives is on the heating of the planet, and if there's any suggestions they have that we could do on like a functional level or a prayer level. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure that they will find an appropriate answer. So this is the question for the heating of the planet. And for anyone popping on, feel free to put your questions in the thread through the Be Live. So if you saw that I shared this on Facebook, don't put it in that thread unless it's through my Sarah Burns and the Invisibles page. So here we go. I'm just going to write this here. So the heating of the planet. Okay. And before I drop in, actually, I'm just going to open the space, open this container of wisdom with this sound, allowing this to purify also the space around me. And if you accept this into your own homes, into your life, bringing you present. And setting the intention that today if you hear anything that comes up, it's completely up to you. You can believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. So if there's something that comes up that feels really important for you to actually go with and hold that as a key or as a gem for you to motivate you in some way in your life, then please do. If you need to receive wisdom from here, receive the vibrations that are coming through these transmissions, please do. If there's something that comes up that doesn't quite resonate with you, that doesn't feel like it's for you, or it's making you uncomfortable trying to understand how to assimilate it into your life right now, you can leave it. And if it's something that comes up during these teachings that you're not quite ready to chew on, but you feel like there's something in it for you, know that you can just lend it to the earth and return to it another day. So it's really up to you how you take in and integrate or release these teachings. So here we go. If heat is the result of passion, then that heat will bring upon life. If heat is the result of anger, then that flame, that rage, will bring upon destruction. If heat is a result of imbalance of the feminine, then that heat will result in the corrosion of the sweetness around you. Right now, the heat on the planet is a bit of all of it. It's coming through from carbon emissions. It's coming through from disconnection from the power of prayer. It's coming through as a great wake-up call that in order to restore the balance, there must be new approaches and systems and technology in play to mediate between the chosen outcome from the passive decisions, if that makes sense. You see, your choice to explore reality in its fullest in this life comes from a great understanding that before you can evolve yourself to a life of more simplicity, you must truly understand how the intricate nature of humanity has overcompensated for the sweetness of the elements, for the subtle energies that wish to pass through the planet through rain, through wind, through sun, through life growing and thriving, through the trees, through the plants. When the fires strike and are unable to be subsided by the rain, that is because the rain is not feeling the residual, or how do we say this? It's as though for rain to exist, for the water to fall from the sky, there must be a vibration that is similar to that on the planet or in the ecosystem. So if the vibration isn't there, maybe you've experienced this before, when dropping into deep prayers or beautiful ceremony space with people, or having such sweetness of collective connection, and then a soft rain comes down or a mist comes down. It's because that energy is meeting the frequencies that you're generating. Not to say this happens all the time, but for the planet to soften itself during this time, because the heating is part of a system that the Earth is going through that isn't necessarily here to be resolved, but it is here to awaken the importance of how to play an active role in the cooling, in offering the sweetness, in offering the subtle energies of calmness, of serenity, of receptivity, which is so much a part of water. There's more to this, but we're going to thank you now for watching. Hello, everyone, dropping in. So that was about the heating of the planet. And for anyone popping up, it looks like we've got, oh, wonderful. We've got a question coming up from Miss Crystal Kaleidoscope. Hello, Lizzie. And she says, I'm just landed in Toronto and very overwhelmed with coming back to a small space crowded with things. Working on shedding, but also moving to a bigger space possible, maybe even out of the city. Please, dear Sarah and the Invisibles, if there is any insight and counsel on creating and calling in the manifestation of a space where my being can thrive. So the image I have of this is, you know, when we make, because I know the story of Lizzie and her journeys there, and you know, how we make these pilgrimages in our lives, how we have this calling to go somewhere. And then when we arrive, it's not necessarily the container that we've grown into being able to, or how do we say it, grow into being able to be supported by. So sometimes when we leave a place, you know, whoever's left isn't going to return the same person. So this is for Lizzie, and for anyone else popping on, this is a great opportunity for you to put a question on. And if you can't stick around, you can also just put it there and I will respond, and the Invisibles will speak through me and I'll send you the minutes. So this is for Miss Lizzie. What if we told you that you're doing it wrong? But not in the way that you're being taken advantage of by the universe for your leap of journeyment. Not because you are not taking advantage of the opportunities at hand, but because there is a system of manifestation that you have forgotten about for some time. 2008 as a year in which you were learning and developing this system. Okay, so in order to manifest, in order to call in the physical situation that can support your development and support the nature of your being coming forth onto the planet in its full regalia, then you need to adapt to the space within you that has felt displaced for so long, okay? And understand that that place within you that you're carrying with you as something that is part of you, that is what you need to focus on. Because that which is in you, that is supporting the manifestations right now, is actually not in alignment with the greatest expression of who you can be. So when we say you're doing it wrong, it is clear to us that your choices are correct, that your way of developing yourself into a fluidity to shift with the requests of life from you, that's not what we're talking about. Going into the crevices within you that you've planted seeds in times of sorrow, in times of disbelief that your agenda in life was valid, in times of discouragement that you're welcome and wanted on the planet, in times of disbelief that you can actually exist in a flourishing capacity with your environment. So they were planted all wrong because they were planted within you instead of being removed from you, instead of seeking a place to dispose of these manifestations that were not coming from a place of thriving potential. A part of you felt, and maybe has felt, that to have those seeds within you would help you keep a better check on them so that you could gauge if they were starting to grow, if they were starting to take over. But now is the time to remove each one of them. This is an affirmation. I allow myself to hold and harness the strength that's true. My ways and my wisdom, they support all I do. And the pureness that comes with following what's true is how I undo the ties that bound me. I release what I have found within me that has been designed to hold me down. I release and I unbound that which cannot support the me I need to be, replacing with integrity. Thank you. That was for you, my dear Lizzie. Oh, is that Miss? Oh, I love you, Shona. All right, so moving on. For anyone popping on, this is a great opportunity for you to ask a question for yourself, humanity, or the planet. And I will give you the minutes after. So if you want to go through it, or if you have to pop off, I will send them to you. Oh, whoa! Love you, Miss Lizzie. All right, so moving down, let's see if there's any more questions that we've got. Otherwise, I'm going to get to a question. Oops. I'm going to get to a question that came earlier, which is something I've been teaching this class. I've done 2 classes recently. And And so the classes I've been teaching are about energetic hygiene. Oh, we got a new question. So I'll save this other question and I'll get right down to my dear Hala. Hello, sweetheart. All right. Dear Sarah and the Invisibles, I have longed for a partner for many years. I finally have a loving man who loves me unconditionally. However, he is vastly different from what I had envisioned. He is much older and coming from a I find myself frustrated often at him at the perceived outer imbalance. Even though as much inner energy is even though so much inner energy is in balance, I have tried to resolve this within myself. However, I cannot maintain equilibrium. How to move forward? Oh, Kala, my dear. Well, first of all, I'm so excited to hear that you have a reflection of unconditional love in your life, because that in itself shows a lot of where you've come from and what you're calling in. And I understand when we have these pieces that come through and we have to come to terms with not actually being the full resounding yes, though there's a lot of yes and a lot of alignment, but that full resounding yes. So some good fresh cherry juice lemonade I made. All right, my dear, so this is for Hala. And this is also, probably connecting in with other people that are in that process of, manifesting these love or these reflections in our lives through partnership and having that point where, as much as there's an alignment, it not necessarily meeting the dream that we've been holding for so long. And how do we work with that? How do we adjust, or how do we listen to the deeper truth beneath that? So here we go, Miss Hala. Don't mind me, everyone. Won't blow my nose. We see this image. Oh, wait. So I'm just to tell you, they want me to explain this. So they were showing me this image of a curb, and when you're getting into that parking spot and you've like just aligned yourself and then you go too far over the curb and then you have to kind of pull back. I don't know, but they showed me this image. Maybe they'll get more into what that means. All right, here we go. It is the going over your perceived outcome. Okay. And then feeling how are you not prepared for going over this outcome, but what you had in place to prevent you from going too far is the same thing that's holding you back in some way. That curb, that point that teaches you in your life a difference. So for you, what this symbolizes is a part of your life that has been developing itself for quite a long time, if not 2 to 3 years to centuries, So when you take that part of you that's been developing an outcome in this life, the vision and the manifestation of Hala, of your unique lens, but with the work you've been doing, tapping in to these past lives, tapping into the manifestation from other times where the lens and the desired outcome may have been different. Okay. So what we see is this being in your life has been actually manifested or summoned or magnetized from a manifestation not fully in this life, but from a few lives ago. So when this happens, when the domino effect finally reaches you in your present incarnation, then the person or the soul may be in a vessel that might have been more suiting to the one who manifested them from a previous incarnation, if that makes sense. And yes, there is qualities that are not quite endearing, but important to stir up the resistance within you. So you can feel in to if you've driven over that bumper, that curb, if you've gone too far in accepting what's available and what's coming to you because of a fear of rejection in the unknown, if that makes sense. That what if the unknown, what if the mystery was to reject your manifestations? As a result of you rejecting your own manifestation. This, though, is a deeper issue that we think comes from a familial lineage, fathers, mothers, possibly, which is connected with fearing that you must accept full-heartedly the manifestations that you've called in. And if you do not accept how life or God is manifesting and creating itself for you to receive, then you'll be shunned. Then you will lose capacity to have the thrill of existence move through you. All these things, not necessarily from your familial line. Fear of refining your manifestation because of a fear that the Creator will shun you for not being appreciatory in all ways. We want to encourage a new perspective, okay? And this perspective is honoring the part of you who has carefully crafted and cultivated your prayers. Honoring the part of you that has done so much work to receive, to have this manifestation in your life. And honoring the part of you that just desires to feel and express and explore more on the planet. It's wonderful. It's not to be shameful. It's not to feel like you're disappointing somebody for that desire. It's wonderful. So look into the part of you that is scared and replace it the part of you that is excited to challenge yourself, to know that you can explore your desires and explore what you've manifested without being out of integrity with who you are. Thank you. That was for you, Hala. I hope that was helpful in some ways. All right. So to freshen up the space, I was thinking I was going to use a little, I'm not going to use these full volume, but I was given these by a dear friend. I gave a little heart. I was given during a time when I was working on a lot of protection, or when I didn't realize that I needed a lot more protection than I did in the spirit plane with the work I was doing. And they're from Ghana, and so I use them as a clearing. I'm not going to be super loud, but I'm just going to create an opportunity. So wherever you are in your home, if you're listening to this, and if you grant permission, I'm going to just send this clearing energy through your space. And I use them to just kind of shake up stagnant energy and also like enliven more of the yang, more of the masculine, or the focus and the direction energy in my life. So I'm just gonna offer this to my space and to wherever you are if you align with that. All right. So moving on, this is a great opportunity for anyone that's on. I do have a question that's lined up from last week that I wasn't able to get to, but if you have a question, please put it on. I'm going to check to see if there's any new ones that have landed. Maybe you'll be able to, maybe this next question will be supportive of you too, Ari. All right, so this is a question that was from last week. The question is the subject of spiritual possession or unseen entities who latch onto humans. How does one identify if this is occurring in themselves? Can you offer any information about the subject, the safety, danger, benefits, cleansing process, anything that comes to mind? Well, I've just been thick in teaching a couple classes with some of this in it regarding entities and my own perspective of entities, and I'm not going to get fully into it because I feel like the invisibles will their own unique, but it's a word that I've heard and I really value from an elder, Peggy Black, in Santa Cruz. Is she calls them misqualified energies. So what to do with these misqualified energies that, you know, are seeking home or shelter or nourishment from us for whatever reason, for whatever they've been in some ways allowed in, whether it's during times of deep depletion, fear, things like that can create openings for these beings to come in to support us, but at the same time, as our vibration is in those low states, or it's almost like a home for that energy, something that they're comfortable in. They're comfortable, you know, they might be comfortable in these lower vibrations. So in order to maintain comfort, they seek to encourage the environment, the emotional environment, the mental environment that will be akin to this vibration. So that can come up in all kinds of ways in our lives. So let's see what the invisibles have to say about that. And I will, this is a question. Okay. Your body is the temple that holds the spirit within. Do not be bold when it comes with a loud. Who you do within you, who you do within you. There are many. When you speak to an entity, when you speak to a rhythm that is not your own, that is penetrating your energetic system, dissonance in your own magnetic field, that has created a crackling sound in your aura. Those energies, those entities, those aspects of the divine in their own ways are asking for you to decide how much a part of your tapestry are you willing to leave for yourself in a way that requires more focus than you have been. Just like lice or scabies or some sort of parasite that lives on the body, that is really only seeking to live, right? Though you are the host. These beings, these parasites, these entities are akin to here, I'm just going to say it. They're showing me this image of I think a whale or some oceanic creature. And if you've ever seen these big oceanic creatures that have all the suckers and little sucker fishes on them, and they're actually this ecosystem, they're actually, I don't know if that's the right wording, but they're creating, they have a to support one another. You know, the whale's getting cleansed, and this being is, you know, food, also feeling being safe, all these things that can happen when the natural balance is in order. Okay, they're back. So there is a way that you can live with other energies in a harmonious fashion. Okay. And a lot of the time, these beings or these energies that soon be referred to as entities had come during when you were seeking a contract of that you were unable to give to yourself. However, how you made yourself open or vulnerable during these is how you created space for these potential allies to come in to explore the dynamic between the two of you. Because this happens throughout our lives, throughout your lives. That there are contracts between potential allies that come in and they work with one another, they work with you as a human. They support you during times of need. And then they release themselves to be of service elsewhere. When there are energies that do not feel or know that there is an elsewhere for them, when you are the only clear-sighted accessible opportunity for these energies to feel that they can get needs met through feeding off of you, through manipulating your mind, your actions, the substances you take. It's as though they feel like you have taken them in and closed the door, because without them, you would not understand what it means to listen to your instincts. This is convincing, we understand. To wrap this up, if you are experiencing an energy in your body or your life that has created a callus upon one of your heart center, maybe your lower abdomen, your spinal cord, this callus is because there is a wear and tear on connection that's happening between you and another being. And in order to transform that, we encourage you to speak to an ancestor or an elder and ask for a prayer of clarity, of decision, to trust in your instincts, to trust in your to filter life as it comes, to be accessible, but to not be vulnerable to the desires of just about anyone. That's what went wrong. When vulnerability, when being open turns into filtration or shields down. We'll say filtration. To filter your existence is imperative to being able to discern between energies that are sustainable and supportive and energies that are draining. And in some ways, not decapitating. We don't have that word. So listen. Listen to who you need to be to hear what's not in alignment with your thriving potential. And everything else, you can ask for guidance or support to send to the Order of the Light, or wherever you may choose, to send home, to send where it may be a beneficial energy, where it may actually support and nourish that which it is host that is supporting them. That there may be a mutual exchange, because your mutual exchange is toast. The exchange of bringing you down, the exchange of taking away your power so that you couldn't use your power to proclaim your sovereignty. That's done. But with that comes a great responsibility. Thank you. All right, that was for an anonymous being in regards to entities. And I'm behind that now. So it looks like, I should show this. All right, so it looks like we have room for one more. Also, I'll throw this up just for fun. Dun, dun, dun. Believe, receive, leave, or lend. So if anything's coming up during this session that doesn't feel ready for you to integrate, that you want to lend it to the earth, or if you want to take it on and use it as fuel and that gold nugget of inspiration that's going to motivate you to take the actions that maybe have been on the back burner, or to have a new perspective that will provide more insight into really the back worlds, in between worlds that are creating your living experience, please do. And for anyone that's here, we've got room for one more question. And as far as I can tell, there is no question lined up. So if you are the last question, please put it on. And I'd love to get to that. And today I have to get off promptly after this question because I'm picking my daughter up at camp, art camp. And while I am waiting and drinking my cherry lemonade, I'm going to just make a little intermission song. And if there's no questions that come up, or if there's not a single last question, we can just call it a day. So let's see, a little intermission song. Or if you have a theme of an intermission song, you can always do that too. Do you want me to sing about? Let's see. Oh, great. The last question has arrived. All right. In this moment, what do we as light workers need to create in our personal worlds? Ooh, that is an awesome question. I want to know the answer to that too. You know, how do we as light workers, as beings that have come from these different realms to bring forth whatever we have, whatever frequencies in our lives to the planet, what do we do in our personal life? You know, because that comes with it. That's part of the contract of these amazing and demanding bodies that we have. All right, so here we go. You need to get to the nitty-gritty. As light works on this, as light works, as how light works, light travels as far as it can go until there's something in the way, correct? To create a shadow. So look at that in your own life, you light workers. What in your personal life is in the way and creating a shadow, not because of necessarily what it is by itself, but because of it being in the direct line of the light that you're shining, or the passion or joy or healing that wishes to come through you, okay? It can appear that these people in your life, these objects in your life, these commitments in your life are blocking your shine from being able to be in full radiance. But that's not true. By you putting them or choosing not to remove these energies or these beings or these arrangements from your life or from the direct alignment of the path you're on, you're the one is allowing the personal life to get in the way of your capacity to give. However, your personal life can actually create a container of conductivity to the light you wish to bring on the planet. That there are ways that your home, when organized in certain ways, can produce more energy, more chi, more illumination of the divine to move through it. Bringing fresh flowers, keeping things clear where you can, allowing your home to be a vessel of what you wish to offer, to reflect the caliber of who you are. And if things in your home are getting bogged down, then look into that. Perhaps it's more responsibility than you can take on. Perhaps it's more objects than you can actually be aware of to keep them fresh and out of the way of stagnation. If there's friends in your life that require a lot of your energy, but you feel depleted, or you feel malnourished or resistant, this is a big one. If you feel resistant of connecting with friends or people in your life, even before you see them, perhaps you know or they're desiring to make plans with you. If there is a resistance and that resistance is coming from lower down, or if that resistance feels like your heart is having to callous a little, to harden a little, to withdraw itself, then that person is not here supporting your purpose. They're here supporting you to have. But if your purpose is not boundaries, if your purpose is finding the container, the vessel that your life can be to support who you are, then start disengaging in a healthy, loving, compassionate way from these people. If these people are intricately woven into your home, into your life, then look at that. Why have you created a being you back? If it's the life you're in. There's more to this, but thank you. Well, that was, there we go. I hope that was helpful. When I'm doing these transmissions, it's the more that I do them, I actually get more, I have a greater potential of being able to see a lot while it's happening. Yay! So as I was seeing that, as they were speaking through me, and I was like seeing this whole image that they were trying to articulate, I feel like a lot of the spirit world, a lot of these beings that pass through the dimensions, like the teaching that they have is almost, it can boil down to like an archetypal image or a symbolic metaphor. But I see it in images. And so that one was just literally like this beam. I saw this image of a bright light, like just like the sun, a beam of sunlight shining as like into the eternity. And then I started seeing like different things coming in the way. I guess I could even use this as like this really bright light, you know, just seeing that this is my light and my lighting system. How do we do this? But yeah, like seeing this. All right. So yeah, and seeing that this, you know, this light here or here represents, you know, that our purpose and what wants to shine through. And as we have these like little beings or these aspects in our life, they kind of just, you know, get a little here, a little there, but it can add up to the point of, you know, getting all the way in our light. Anyways, that was me trying to share you that. So I want to thank everyone for showing up today, for however long you did, and for showing up for the planet today, and just knowing that, you know, your role in this world, your role in your life, your role in your family, your role in just this mycelial network of connection is important and is valid. And if there's something in your life that you could do today to create more space for yourself to shine, if there's something in your life that has been getting in the way of your life feeling like a vessel and more like a container, then maybe look into that. maybe make some slight shifts in your physical environment today. So before I say farewell, I'm just going to put my website up here. So if anyone wants to, check out more of my work, I also have, if you go on my website in transmissions, there's different teachings and like really small Sarah Burns and the Invisibles stuff going on. And if you want to subscribe, then you get to know about all the goodness that happens. Soon, when I get back from my trip, I'm thinking of actually offering distance Sarah and the Invisibles, Ask the Invisibles, so that you can just have a one-on-one time with me. But I've been wanting to just like get more and more comfortable with them. So when I get back, that will be coming. And I'm also teaching a class in Toronto. So if any of you watching are going to be in Toronto at the end of August, I'm going to be there on Pedestrian Sunday as well, I believe. So there'll be opportunities to see me in the human. Oh, and that is my alarm, which is a Song of the Sea. Okay, so thank you all once again for dropping on and dropping in, and believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. If anything you want to take with you, please do. Anything that's not for you, release it. Anything you want to return to, lend it to the earth and bring it back when you're ready. Thank you so much. Aloha.